We need to find a basis of a vector space generated by these given polynomials. To get the basis, we first need to write the coordinate vectors of these given polynomials relative to the basis, right? So let V be the vector space generated by the polynomials. Let me name them as V1, V2, V3. So V1 is 3x cubed plus x squared plus 2x minus 1. And V2 is 2x cubed minus x squared plus 6x. I'm not having the constant over here, so I can write the constant as 0. And then V3 is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. What is the degree of the polynomials? It is 3, right? So now to write the coordinate vectors of these given polynomials relative to the bases. Okay, what are the bases? The degree is 3 over here. So basis becomes x cubed, x squared, x and then 1 respectively. Writing the coordinate vector for the first polynomial, that is for V1, relative to the basis, we are having just writing the coefficients. So it is 3, 1, 2 and the constant -1. So the coordinate vector for V1 is denoted as like this. Relative to the basis, I'm writing 3, 1, 2, -1 dash. This dash means you have to write this vector in a column format. 3, 1, 2, minus 1 like this. Writing the coordinate vector for V2, it is 2, -1, 6, 0. Writing the coordinate vector for V3, so it is 1, -3, 8, 5. Writing all these coordinate vectors in a matrix form as it is in rows. Now to get a row echelon form of the matrix A. I'm having 3 over here. I need 1 in place of 3 because I'm already having 1 over here in the third row. So let's interchange the row 1 and 3. So interchanging the row 1 with 3. 1 minus 3, 8, 5. Writing second row as it is. And the third row is your first row. So this is 3, 1, 2, -1. Now I'm having 1 over here. That is what I need for this to be a leading element. And also, I need to make these two as 0. To make 2 as 0, for that, I need to apply the row operation. So applying the row operation on the row 2 first and adding its elements to the row 1 to make the advantage of this 1. But the row 1 should be first multiplied with -2 to get 0 over here. Writing the first row as it is, 1, -3, 8, 5. Changing the row 2, alright. 1 is multiplied with -2, we get -2. Adding this to 2, we get 0. -3 multiplied with -2, we get 6. Adding this to -1, we get 5. 8 is multiplied with -2, we get -16. Adding this to 6, we get -10. 5 is multiplied with -2, we get -10. Adding this to 0, we get -10. To make 0 in place of 3, we need to apply the row operation on row 3. So row 3 should be changed and adding its elements to the row 1. But row 1 should be first multiplied with -3. 1 is multiplied with -3, we get -3. Adding this to 3, we get 0. -3 multiplied with -3, we get 9. Adding this to 1, we get 10. 8 is multiplied with -3, we get -24. Adding this to 2, we get -22. 5 is multiplied with -3, we get -15. Adding this to -1, we get -16. So this becomes our leading element now. To get the leading element over here, we need to make this as 1. For that, just multiplying the elements of the row 2 with 1 over 5. Writing the first row as it is, Writing the third row as it is and multiplying the elements of the row 2 with 1 over 5, that is 0, 1, minus 2 and minus 2, right? So I got 1 over here. This is already the leading element for the first row. To get the leading element for the second row, we need to make this and this to be as 0, 0, right? To make this as 0, we need to apply the row operation on the row 1. So row 1 should be changed, taking the advantage of this 1, adding its elements to the row 2, but row 2 should be first multiplied with 3. So 0 multiplied with 3 we get 0, adding this to 1 we get 1. 1 is multiplied with 3 we get 3, adding this to 3 we get 0. This is what we need. Minus 2 multiplied with 3 we get minus 6, adding this to 8 we get 2. Minus 2 multiplied with 3 we get minus 6, adding this to 5 we get minus 1. Writing the second row as it is. To get 0 over here now, for that, applying the row operation on the row 3rd and adding its elements to the row 2, but row 2 should be first multiplied with minus 10. 0 multiplied with minus 10 we get 0, adding this to 0 we get 0. 1 is multiplied with minus 10, adding this to 10 we get 0. This is what we need. Minus 2 multiplied with minus 10 we get 20, adding this to minus 22 we get minus 2. Minus 2 multiplied with minus 10 we get 20, adding this to minus 16 we get 4. So we get this to be our leading element for the first row and this to be as a leading element for the second row. Now to make this to be as a leading element for the third row, we should make this as 1 first. For that, just multiplying the row 3 with minus 1/2. Writing first and the second row as it is and multiplying the elements of the row 3 with minus 1/2. So we get 0 and then 0 and then we get 1 over here and here we get minus 2, right? I'm getting 1 over here for the third row. To make this the leading element, we need to make this and this to be as 0. For that, row 2 should be changed and adding its elements to the row 3, but row 3 should be first multiplied with 2. We always make the advantage of this 1 in every row, right? So row 2 should be changed, adding its elements to the row 3, but row 3 should be first multiplied with 2. Writing the third row as it is. Alright. 0 multiplied with 2 we get 0, adding this to 0 we get 0. 0 multiplied with 2 we get 0, adding this to 1 we get 1, no change. 1 is multiplied with 2 we get 2, adding this to minus 2 we get 0, this is what we need. Minus 2 multiplied with 2 we get minus 4, adding this to minus 2 we get minus 6. Required to get 0 over here, row 1 should be changed and adding its elements to the row 3, but row 3 should be first multiplied with negative 2. 0 multiplied with negative 2 we get 0, adding this to 1 we get 1, no change. 0 multiplied with minus 2 we get 0, adding this to 0 we get 0. 1 is multiplied with minus 2 we get minus 2, adding this to 2 we get 0, this is what we need. Minus 2 multiplied with minus 2 we get 4, adding this to minus 1 we get 3. So now we get this to be our leading element for the row 3. And now this matrix is in row echelon form. To write the bases now, this is the coefficient of x cube, this is the coefficient of x square, this is the coefficient of x, and this is the constant, right? From the first row, we are getting the bases as x cube plus 3. The second row, we are getting this as x square minus 6. From the third row, we are getting this as x minus 2, which is a required basis for vector space V. Alright, thank you.